You're listening to special programming honoring VoicePrint's 20th anniversary on December 1st and UN Day of Persons with Disabilities on December 3rd. I'm VoicePrint Fredericton's Nick Logan, speaking with Marcia Carroll, Scott Parsons, and Kerry Duggan about Around the Block Theatre at the Charlottetown office of the P.E.I. Council for People with Disabilities. With the puppet show, and I hate to make you choose, is there one particular storyline that really touches you or really just sticks in your head the most?
Well, Mark Riley, who's in the chair here, he has some great skits that he does that the kids love, where he pops wheelies in his chair, and he gets mad at one of the other puppets because he's lent them the game and they didn't return the game. Well, it turns out the game was returned, but Mark's little sister didn't tell him, so he's mad at the person who's supposed to have returned his game, and they have to work through that whole process. And finally, when Mark realizes he's wrong, he apologizes, and they sort of make up as friends, and then off they go to their classes. Perhaps Kerry would like to add something to that.
Well, in the skit with the puppets with Mark Riley, I find that this is one of the things that the kids really relate to, and I find it may be a message they're really, really getting for the first time with regard to inclusion. Because when Mark is mean to his fellow puppet in the skit, she says to Mark that she has to be nice to him, that her mother says, well, because he's in a wheelchair, we have to be nice to you. And Mark doesn't want that. He doesn't want to be treated differently just because he's in a wheelchair. And he says, well, I've been mean to you, and you don't have to be nice to me if I'm mean to you. And that's one of the kids the kids sometimes comment on, is that, they learn not to treat a person with a disability differently.
That's actually a really good storyline. Again, as Scott was saying, some of the kids say, I'm not going to bully after seeing this. I learned how to treat people. What have you seen from your perspective, having worked with the puppet show?
Well, I think Scott may have covered that pretty well. The response from the kids, really getting engaged with the colorful puppets and really getting caught up in the entertaining storylines. There's great audience reaction, and at the end of every puppet show, we do a little question and answer period where the puppets will answer the kids' questions. And it's always really heartwarming and surprising even at how astute those kids are and how thought-provoking their questions can be. You can see what they've taken from just watching the show, and you can see their little wheels spinning and taking those messages, internalizing them, and coming back with some real understanding and compassion.
You have a puppet right here beside you as well, and who is she and what's her story?
Her name is Melody Janes. She has a learning disability, and she's quite intrigued when she first meets Mark Riley because he's in a wheelchair, and I don't think she's had a friend who has a visible disability. And she quite likes Mark when she gets to know him, and she asks him some very pointed questions. She doesn't have shyness or embarrassment about asking him about being in a wheelchair, and they strike up quite a good friendship. And as their interactions develop throughout the skits, at one point she's very playful and teasing with Mark, and she will say, "Well, I'll race you to class," and or Mark will say to her, "I'll race you to class," and she says, "No fair, you have wheels." So she really helps to develop the idea of the inclusion.
I noticed while you were speaking to me that Melody Jane's mouth was moving a little bit too. Does she have anything to say?
Well, I don't, as a facilitator, I don't participate in the puppet play, but I really wish we had some of our past participants here to bring Melanie to life, because they've done a great job with her, and she has quite a strong character.
Do you have a puppet that's visually impaired as well? Is that included in the list? Right now, I don't have a visually impaired puppet. I have a hearing impaired puppet. And she's about 5 feet tall. Actually, that puppet takes a few people to use. And then we've got Mark Riley in the chair, and then the other two girls. So they're we actually don't have, just by nature of the puppets that we've been working with for a few years, we don't have a visually impaired puppet. It'd be nice to have one.
Marcia, I haven't asked you yet. What's one of the stories from the puppets or one of the characters that reaches you emotionally?
Certainly the puppet that has a learning disability I connect with very deeply because I have dyslexia myself, and some of the struggles that I went through in school, and the notion that I felt about myself that I was stupid, and certainly when I was going to school was quite a while ago. I'll not get into my age, but so I'm emotionally attached to that puppet, and especially because some people automatically think that if you have a disability, it's something that you can see, it's something that's tangible, like a white cane or a hearing aid or a wheelchair, where there's a whole segment of our population that have invisible disabilities that are every bit as debilitating as any other disability. So I think it's important to get the message out there that not everybody who has a disability is in a wheelchair, but lots of people have challenges that with the right supports can be overcome.
You're going into the 10th year of Around the Block Theatre. What's in store for this year?
Well, I know it's an anniversary and that we should be doing something special, but I always look at the program as innately special in itself. So that will be up to Scott and Kerry I'm sure they'll come to me with some type of proposal as to what they want to do. Certainly we want to do some awareness around the fact that it's been running for 10 years. And every year the script is personalized by the participants, like they're encouraged to write part of the script. So I'm hoping that some of that history will be in the script this year, and then that message will get out as well.
Have you ever been asked to spread this beyond P.E.I.?
We've actually had some of the staff suggest that it should be taken across the country, and we've actually looked into someday maybe being able to partner with another organization, particularly in BC. Scott had made some connections. We haven't been able to do that yet, and it's due to lack of funding, but that's the dreams are always big.
That's all of the time we have for our special broadcast in honor of the United Nations Day for People with Disabilities. I'd like to thank Marcia Carroll, Scott Parsons, and Kerry Duggan of the Prince Edward Island Council for People with Disabilities for taking time out of their very busy day to speak about Around the Block Theatre. From VoicePrint Fredericton, I'm Nick Logan.